All right, guys, Justin Fields was impressive in his preseason debut with the Bears. The Ohio State product went 14 in 20 for 142 yards and a touchdown. He also added a touchdown on the ground. So right now on the DK Sportsbook, you can get Fields at plus 190 to take the first regular season snap for Chicago. Geoff, are you taking it?
Oh, man. I mean, these situations are obviously tough. You're trying to read the tea leaves. You're trying to get inside the mind of an NFL head coach, which is like, I mean, you almost have to like think backwards with some of these guys. But I do kind of like this situation. I don't mind these odds of plus 190. I think you have to look at the fact that the Bears, Andy Dalton is the incumbent, but it's not like Andy Dalton has been a Bear any longer than Justin Fields. Andy Dalton is still being marched out in the preseason games. They're getting him reps. They're looking at Andy Dalton just like they're looking at Justin Fields. And you have to like what you saw from Justin Fields in the first game if you're part of the Bears organization. Matt Nagy's come out. He hasn't said concretely that like this competition is over. Andy Dalton's still the guy, but they're both going to be out there in week 2. And I think that's significant. The Bears are still evaluating. And I think that at plus 190, Justin Fields is a better talent. So I don't hate this bet.
All right, how do you feel about this bet, Garion?
Yeah, I think going back, it might have been 2 months ago, we talked about this prop. The odds were a little bit steeper for Fields at that point, but that was one of the key points that I remember really wanting to drive home that Geoff brought up, which is Dalton is also learning this Bears offense. Dalton is also trying to get the communication down with the coaching staff. Like, he didn't really have an advantage just in the sense of, I've been inside this organization for years. So maybe Fields had a little less ground to make up, aside from the fact that, he's just also Andy Dalton, who might be a pretty easy quarterback to catch in a competition like this. I did want to make the point, as someone who watched way too much of this game, that Fields did a lot of this damage in the second half against third and fourth stringers. He actually looked really bad in the second quarter when he played. I believe he was 2 for 7 going into halftime. He'd almost thrown 2 interceptions.